and Stuart Holmes.
We're here with our thoughts on Thursday for our upcoming worship services. We have two. We have a Good Friday service that will be posted Friday morning for your viewing. We think probably best to watch it in the evening around 8 p.m. would be our normal service time. It's going to be a contemplative and reflective tenebrae service where we go from really 6 movements, and at home you can put out 6 candles that you will light all together, and then as we go we'll extinguish a candle at a time. The last candle is a Christ candle, and that one is never extinguished, but you can move it out of sight and then you move it back at the end. And so we just ask that you join in with that. And if you don't have candles to light, or it's not safe to do so in your apartment or wherever you're living, maybe you can find the lamps even and be creative about it. And we just ask that you join in on that service. Our Easter service will be posted late Saturday night, and that's going to be a beautiful celebration service. And the highlight I want to do for our Easter service is we do on occasion have a confession of our faith, and we've already done that once on our videos, and I use the Apostles' Creed, that so many people know the Apostles' Creed. In our Reformed tradition, which includes the Reformed Church in America, the Christian Reformed Church, and also the Presbyterian Church and several other denominations, one of our Reformed documents is called the Heidelberg Catechism. It's almost 460 years old, and I'm using the 400th anniversary, which was in 1963. It was redone, and I'm going to be using question and answer 45. And if you look at the Heidelberg Catechism, there's 3 movements. There's guilt, grace, and gratitude. So that we all have fallen short of God, we are in need of God's grace, and then gratitude is living in that grace. And this question and answer is really about God's grace. Question 45 says this: what benefit do we receive from the resurrection of Christ? First, by his resurrection, he has overcome death, that we might make us share in the righteousness which he has obtained for us through his death. Second, we too are now raised by his power to a new life. Third, the resurrection of Christ is a sure pledge to us of our blessed resurrection. And so in that question and answer is really about God's grace in our lives and how we're supposed to share that grace with others and the hope of resurrection in the future. So we'll do that responsively on Sunday, and just wanted to give you a little background on that. And now Stuart's going to talk a little bit about our music.
Okay, we're going to have 2 hymns for our Good Friday service, which are going to be featured throughout the entire service. The first one is Ah, Holy Jesus, and it has a theme or a feeling in it of that grief and mourning that I've talked about on previous Thoughts on Thursdays recording. That motif in this particular piece by Helmut Volker comes back in the pedal. Sorry. You can hear that first little motif of Ah, Holy Jesus. And he continues that throughout. Descending, which also has significance during this Lenten period. The postlude is going to be based on the other hymn, Were You There? And I'm going to improvise on that. I'm going to pick up that same feeling of grief. And develop that into the postlude. I find it interesting. I was telling Rob the other day that Were You There? A Lenten hymn. Lenten hymns are almost always in the minor mode, and this one's in the major mode. And Rob's response was, well, it's the story of Christ's life, taking it through crucifixion up to the resurrection. I don't have any idea theologically on whether that's true or not.
You're not willing to say I'm right? Is that what you're saying?
Oh yes, you're right. Then on Easter, did we?
Yep, we're ready for
On
Easter.
Easter, John Schmerich, who's played trumpet with us for the last probably 7-8 years now, is going to be back for playing just the prelude and the hymns. John's a trumpeter. He's also a music teacher in the Ridgewood school system. It's interesting, all the music for Easter is by 3 composers. Telemann, the prelude, which is what I was playing when this thought on Thursday started. Handel, the Messiah, Nina Leonetti is going to sing I Know That My Redeemer Liveth. That was written by George Frederick Handel in the early mid-1700s. And then we have the Hallelujah Chorus, which is going to be the postlude this year. I'm going to end with, it's astounding that these 3 composers knew each other and lived in the same time period, although were in different countries at different parts of at different points in time. But also that this music is the basis for our late Baroque period. And that crazy Handel wrote the Messiah in 3 weeks. I end with that. What else could be said?
Thanks for joining us for our thoughts on Thursday. It's really just a time to kind of explain a little bit in more detail what has gone into the thought process of putting the worship together. And hopefully it'll let you experience both Good Friday and Easter in a deeper way. And I just encourage you, don't get to Easter without going through Good Friday. Thank you and have a great day.